Hey guys, welcome back to The Clip. This is episode 8 today, and we have the absolute privilege and honor of hearing from Andy Ciui and Ryan Bowles as well. Welcome guys today. How are you going?
Good. How you doing?
Feeling all right?
Yeah, great.
Got your names right? Is that?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
for now.
Solid. Andy Ciui, yeah.
I didn't know your surname was Chewy. That's awesome.
First time hearing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Like
Well,
Chewbacca.
the topic today is marketplace ministry. So just to give you a little bit of context for what we're going to be chatting around, essentially we know that, as young adults, we're in the workplace, we're working. And today I've got two incredible men that have just been, really diligent in their business and place of work. And today we're just going to be able to hear, great stories, great testimonies, but also biblical principles about what we can take away and implement into the workforce in our, world as well. So maybe Andy, why don't you start? Tell us maybe a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What do you get up to?
Yeah, sure. So I started a company called Tradies Network about 3-4 years ago with my business partner, Dennis. Shout out to Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis.
So yeah, we started a company a few years ago now, and we were in construction, really struggling, super toxic environments and stuff like that. And we just thought there had to be more around. So I started in painting, got myself qualified, and then really just wanted to go for more.
Cool.
Coincidentally, my walk with God was sort of coming back as well. So it was sort of like the favor of me pouring into him and saying, hey, what do I have for you on this side? And so we just kept pouring, getting into church. This is about 2018, 2019. And then had an opportunity, just went with it, went about 3 months unpaid without.
Wow.
It was a bit of a struggle to get this business up and running.
You said 3 months unpaid.
3 months, at least 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Sacrifice.
it was pretty brutal.
Yep.
Just trying to create our own work. This whole new structure of business.
Yeah.
God was good, provided in the end. So after 3 months, we started, getting some business through.
Awesome. Yep.
Ended up getting Dennis out of his job, and then we just went to pursue this. And
Yeah, cool.
and now we're here running from one trade to multiple trades, Tradies Network.
Yeah,
and
it's brilliant.
It's great. God's good, and He's got
So
favor.
you started off just in painting, and
Yep.
then now you're across all the trades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we do most finishing trades, and we're even expanding on those as well as it goes along. So
Yeah, cool.
it's a big process. It's a new style of construction,
Mhm.
but it's definitely one that's necessary. It's obviously been filling a gap in the
cool.
market. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's been a crazy journey.
And
Crazy
then-
good.
And then maybe Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Your work, family. What does that all look like for you?
Yeah, based on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Married with the best wife in the world.
Okay.
I don't know. Sorry.
We'd all probably debate that, but
we could
yeah.
debate that.
Yeah.
We worked together in business,
Yeah,
and
cool.
we started working together before we were even engaged.
Yeah.
Kaylee came into the business.
Awesome.
We started working.
Yeah.
She was 1 day a week, moving out of retail,
Mhm.
joining me, and we've got a coaching business where we help course creators, consultants, and
Yeah.
other coaches
Cool.
get more clients and customers online.
Yeah, brilliant.
So we deal a lot with Facebook, Instagrams,
Yep.
YouTube, all of the things.
Yep.
And we help them scale their businesses up
Sweet.
10, 50, 100K months.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's
So
good
good.
fun. And so we work side by side.
Yeah.
We've been doing it now together 3.5 years, but I've been in the coaching space about 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, cool.
Previously had a program helping graphic designers
Yeah.
and freelancers. That was where I sort of first kicked off,
Mhm.
and then switched into this niche and space. Yeah, in about
Great.
2018, 19.
Yeah. And then I suppose for you guys, either one can go first. Was there, I suppose, like a moment in time where you felt, I don't know, God speak, or you were led to sort of get into the industry that you're in or the work that you're in? And even before that, did you have to do jobs you didn't like at the start to get to sort of where you are now? Or like before you got into the industry, you felt God was calling you into? So
Jobs didn't like is a pretty good one.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
We'll start there if you want.
Yeah, one I was telling clients of
Yep.
just yesterday was I used to dig holes for a living.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever done anything like that in the trade space.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude took me on. He
Okay.
started me in his backyard first
Wow.
before we moved into like paid stuff that his clients had.
Yeah.
And I maybe took 3 digs of a hole, and he came over and just told me what for, as to like how he expected me to
Yeah.
work under his rule. And man, I dug holes until there was nothing left on my hands.
Yeah.
And realized pretty quickly I didn't want to dig holes.
Yeah,
That there had to be something else other than
Yeah.
that. And that was just at the time.
Yep.
Needed cash in hand.
Great.
Needed some cash. Didn't know where my purpose
Yeah.
was or what my passion was.
Yep.
And I was in between some things.
Cool.
And so that's where I found myself. I don't know about you.
Digging holes.
Yeah.
Andy, what about you? Any jobs
Yeah,
you didn't like that you had to do?
You got to start somewhere, hey.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, I was pretty much the same in painting, but I wanted to grind it out as much as I could and just
Yep,
got to a
okay.
point where I was like, there has to be more than this. I'm really pushing myself and trying to be humble and
Yep.
not greedy that I'm like seeking a paycheck.
Yeah.
Where I was actually thinking, what are the opportunities around me? Looking at what businesses can I work with, and it's sort of just that glass ceiling. And I just thought I have to push myself. I have to start asking around. I have to start networking, and not just to become somebody that just for whatever reason, just that. Hey, I want to actually do something with my life. How does God want to use me? Because I don't feel like He's going to be using me on the job sites like He is now. I can be doing something way more. So,
and maybe even because you touched on, your relationship with Dennis a little bit in the intro, but, if for someone who's out there that doesn't have a mentor, in their workspace or, around what they're doing, how important was Dennis to you? And then like, what were you looking for at the time? Because like Dennis didn't just probably pop up, right? Like you had to seek him out, talk to him, maybe just go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So we worked together on, a painting business. I worked with him part-time in a sports management business as well. And we were very close, but I never really saw him as a mentor per se. He was just someone who was just sort of my boss almost.
Yeah, yep.
But after sort of following more biblical principles and sort of just being like looking at people around me as who can be that person that is a mentor. I think him and I just sort of clicked after a while, which I was super lucky, and I'm super grateful to this day to have someone like that. But it just sort of happened naturally over time. So it's nothing, it can't really explain it, but you can find people in your own networks that they're there. They're 100% there. There are people running businesses. There are people who are grinding it out. There are people who you can be inspired by that are critiquing your character and everything like that. So,
And it sounds like, you looked up to him because of, the biblical principles he was living by, your values aligned, like a lot of those things.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
for someone out there that's like looking for a mentor, maybe in their workspace, so that's what they'd be after is like, what are their values? Do we align? And there's other things to consider too.
Yeah, and you got to really see past like the, what they're driving and what they're doing, what their position is. And
great.
I want to have their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you got to see past all of that and be like, what is this person without all that?
Great.
Are they still a good person? Are they showing up to church? Are they serving?
Wow.
What's motivating them? And Dennis to me was just, he's a huge family man.
Yeah.
It's all about families, number one. And I saw how he served his family, and I just really, so that was great for me. Yeah.
I'd probably add in there as well, know what you're seeking out.
Great.
So not everybody has the full package.
Yes.
So, family was strong, but you might seek someone out maybe to help for finance. You might seek someone out for a relationship.
Yeah, great.
Marriage, family,
Yeah.
faith, but just know what it is. Someone that might help you in your faith walk might not be expert in business, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So don't.
Absolutely.
We've all
look
had
to
that
them for all
experience,
those
I think,
things.
before.
I think we can put. I mean, one of my mistakes early on was putting people up on a pedestal which had all of the things. But then over the years, refining that to go, no, I'm seeking out your advice here for this specific thing. I appreciate that, but that's not what I'm here for. I'll go to somebody else, my pastor or whoever. I remember. I just remember a dude at a men's group. And he wanted to give me marriage advice. He'd been divorced 5 times. And I'm like, thanks, man. I'm just going to eat my brekkie roll bounce because like that's not what I'm looking for from someone that's gone through it.
Like a lack of fruit maybe there, or
bless him. Totally. He's a good dude, but
And then for you, then do you have a few mentors like in those space? You don't have to say their names or anything, but like in terms of how often would you see them? What's the relationship sort of like? With your mentors.
One of my first official mentors was my cousin.
Yep.
Funnily enough, he's a couple of years older than me.
Yep.
Sought him out for the business side of things. Grown a phenomenal tutoring business down in Sydney.
Yeah.
And they're expanding sort of Australia-wide. But saw, the way he grew team, the way organizational structure, managed finance, etc. So, he saw me through sort of early years business.
Yep.
And sort of also, in the band that I was in, managing a bunch of different things in terms of people, like how do we manage conflict and how do we manage these things. So one of my earliest mentors was him, Rowan.
Great.
Since then, business mentors, relationship, my pastor at church.
Great.
Property mentors. Heaps. Like right now, like one of the things I'm searching out is a therapist. Like to help with the mental health side of things.
Awesome.
So lots of different areas that we draw on people often.
That's great.
That's
and
really...
to move it to sort of a different area now, I suppose around like, have you guys had any difficult like circumstances or times that you've really been challenged at work, whether it was because you guys are owners, maybe by an employee, or maybe it was an external stakeholder like a contractor or someone else that's employing you? Like, have you guys had a difficult maybe experience that you'd like to maybe talk about, and then maybe just unpack like how you responded to it and I suppose overcome it? Hopefully you've overcome it.
I'll take it.
Go.
Oh man, in construction there's a lot. So I mean, where do I start with that one? So in construction, you get builders who aren't paying, you get guys who aren't showing up, you get so many different things that are happening every single day, and you really need to know how to roll with the punches. And you need to know how to keep your cool. So that's something that I've sort of been good at, but has definitely been tested when starting a business. So really have to just have self-control. You have to bite your tongue. You're surrounded with me. I'm surrounded by guys who are swearing their heads off, guys who are super toxic to their body, to the people around them, and you are the light in their life.
You are
on the job site, and you're not there saying, "Hey, I'm better than you," but you're saying, "Hey, I can talk to you. I don't need to swear. I don't need to raise my voice. I don't need to do anything that you're doing, even though you're doing it to me. It doesn't matter. My biblical principles are going to stand."
Yeah, great.
And that's really hard. It's really confronting. But once you get over that hurdle, it becomes, a tool that you go out, and that's you spreading the gospel. You doing that every day.
Yep.
You still showing up, and and then not talking about someone behind their back, but being like, you know what, I'm just going to swallow my pride. I'm just going to give it to God.
Great.
And it's just that was a huge struggle.
It's a higher standard. Holding yourself to that huge. And them to that by you being who you are.
It's definitely a process. It won't happen overnight. You don't just click. The same with becoming a Christian. It's a huge process, but when you get thrown in the deep end, it you learn pretty quickly, and you think these people are in a way sort of depending on me. What other ways are they seeing the gospel? So for me that was huge. Just trying to be different than the environment that you're in.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think for me, like, business is just putting out fires every day. It's like you wake up and you're like, all right, strap the suit on. We've got to put fires out again. So whatever it is, whether it's like dealing with people, which often, causes the most heartache, or like, worry or stress or anxiety.
Yeah.
But even things like this year, our Facebook accounts were hacked. And so it's like we had to start from zero again, credit cards and all the rest. And it's like, all right, how do we handle this? We weren't planning for that in 2023. It wasn't on our list of goals, and here we are having to figure that out. Or dealing with maybe like fraudulent clients that are claiming things that aren't true, dealing with them, or just clients that aren't getting results. Like, got to help them out. Or, people stealing IP, lots of different things, a bit different for our online space. I don't know if you've had IP and such attacked.
We had our email accounts hacked this year.
Oh, really?
So that was great.
Just stuff you don't need to be dealing with, but you got to expect it, because if you don't expect it,
absolutely,
you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you wake up one morning and you just think, how did this like land in my lap right now? You're just trying to do something else, and something else comes along, pushes you. You just get stretched all the time. Every day.
I think that's a really good point. Your capacities would obviously be getting stretched at work, and then also you have to go home as well. And then if you got family that you're going home to, you still got to be, available for them, present for them. It's not like you just walk in and like your responsibilities, drop as well. So
and then for us, it's my wife and I. We work together.
You work together,
and we work from our home.
Yeah,
right. So we've got these layers, and so we work upstairs side by side. And we complete the day. We go downstairs, and we're still the same people. We're business owners. We're husband and wife. We're family. So we've got to put in things, get out and walk.
Yeah.
We exercise in the morning generally. That's amazing to kick off the day. But after the day's finished, we need to get out. She gets into the garden.
Great.
I might go tinker in wherever and do whatever.
Yeah.
Just to separate
Switch
those
off
spaces,
as well,
switch off.
Yeah.
And
So
then come
important.
back on the same page. So
Yeah.
super important.
Yeah.
And, with all the difficult challenges you guys are having in your workplace or, marketplace every day, what sort of role does prayer play for you guys? Because I'm sure like there's, oftentimes, there's times you just would be crying out for God to move and to have his way. But is there anything like specifically with prayer, like, prayer as a tool, do you guys use that, much in your day to day?
Vital.
Yeah,
Vital?
Absolutely.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Vital.
Yeah. A lot of the times when, I'm driving somewhere and I know that I'm going to be meeting someone that, I've had confrontation with, or that's just super hot-headed, I'll just pray before I get out of the car. Lord, will you just be there with me? Holy Spirit, help me to not lose my cool, to be able to get through this and say what you want to say, not what I want to say. And everything like that. It's definitely, like you're saying, it's vital, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think vital internally and vital externally. So for us, internally, 1, me and the Lord.
Yes.
2, me and Kaylee.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
And the Lord.
Yeah.
And then 3, it's then like, how does that, reverberate among our clients? We've been praying a lot more with our clients. We don't have a Christian business. It's anyone come in and we'll serve you.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, we were at a VIP event where we had clients in person. Most of our stuff's online.
Yeah.
And we got the opportunity. One of our clients said, last year, Kaylee, you said on one of our calls that you pray for us as clients. And she said, no one's ever prayed for me before.
Wow.
And it's touched me. And she broke down in tears.
Such an awesome testimony.
Just remembering that moment. And I said, well, hey, we wanted to offer this to you guys as is. Like, do you want prayer now? Like, and
that's so
these
good.
4 women were all like,
wow.
yeah, I'm in. 2 Christian, 2 not.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the non-Christian that sort of raised the point.
Yeah.
And so we said, well, let's do it how we do it, family style.
Yeah.
Jump in the circle.
Yeah.
Lay hands on you.
Yeah. It's
we
such
just
so good.
prayed straight into it.
That's
it's
amazing.
such a massive seed you've sown to those who aren't believers as well, because the love that you're showing and just, being there for them. It's
And so to come around full circle, one of the other women that were there on the testimonial, she was like, that was the most touching point of the whole 3 days.
Wow.
We just spoke to her today on a call and she said, my house is going up for sale in the UK.
Yep.
She's like, please pray for me. She's just asking for the prayer now.
Right.
So we're like, we'll be praying for you.
That's so good.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see that work out from an external standpoint too.
Yeah, that's honestly so good.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy, as well? Like, are there other sort of testimonies, like maybe not that specific, but like just, I don't know, other testimonies of like that you've had with maybe employees or other people, like when you're talking to them, or anything that like stands out maybe?
Yeah, look, there's been a couple interactions where I'm just glad that God was there and present. But nothing has gone so far, that it's been crazy. But I think the best thing that God has done with our business is just the favor and navigating the risk of, every time we're doing deals with a builder is that everyone's going belly up. There are so many construction companies that are just going bankrupt. Yeah. And his favor has just been so good to navigating whether the jobs get accepted or not, because you want every job you go and quote, so you're going and you're saying, God, please, let this happen if it's your will. And I think that's a big thing, is that just his will is just, constantly pushing us around, because there are sometimes like we were, talking to builders and, within a couple of days we were going to start projects with them and then they went bankrupt. Wow. And so it's been crazy to not have a single, we haven't had a single builder with us go bankrupt. So that's been really good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favor, protection, blessing.
Fully. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe to you, Ryan, like, are there biblical, principles that are really prevalent, like maybe front of mind, that you find you'd be implementing every day? Like, obviously you're probably not telling the client, oh, this is the scripture, this is the verse, but are there just like things that you live out pretty naturally as like an overflow as a result of things you've learned in the word, or you've, heard from church or other things like that?
Totally.
Yep.
One of my favorites is Deuteronomy 8:18.
Yep.
Which says, I've given you the ability in creating wealth and abundance.
Awesome.
But then it very closely follows on to say that if you forget me in all of these, I will bring you to the ground.
Great.
Yeah, wow.
I'm taking that right now.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 8:18, just so
great.
powerful,
Yeah.
that whole passage of scripture. And then I spent a lot of time in Proverbs.
Yeah.
I think Proverbs was built, and also Genesis 1.
Yep.
Proverbs was, just one of the most richest like passages of scripture ever written for simple applicable daily habits that we can use in our world, from everything of like discipline and putting your hand to work to receive profit, to how you should treat people, to how you should act and behave in business. Proverbs, one of my favorite. There's so many in there.
That's great.
Commit all your ways to the Lord and you will succeed. There's
So
just
good.
tons in there.
Sweet. Andy, what about you, mate?
Oh, there's a few, but
Putting you on the spot, I know.
being faithful with the little.
Great. Yep.
Will be faithful with the big. So that's one of the big ones for us, is that it's not the big things that we're doing, but it's the small things on a daily, and just being grateful for whatever season that you're in.
Yep.
Whether you're winning or whether you're losing, just show up.
Yep.
Show up and just do what you got to do.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Glad you highlighted that principle. We touched on it in episode 6. So for those of the listeners that missed episode 6, go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Steve Swenson crushed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Is there where was I going with that? I was just going to say, like, out of all the things that we've probably spoken about today, if there's someone who's, either 18 or maybe just starting out like their journey with work, what's maybe like one really like valuable piece of advice you'd give to people earlier on in their career or trade or whatever they're doing for work or marketplace ministry? Yeah. What's maybe the one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting? You go.
I'd say question everything that anybody's told you to do or that you felt like you need to or have to do.
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, just say that again.
I'd say question everything.
Question everything,
that you feel that you've been told to do or that you have to do.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because we go through a schooling system which has values, but we all sort of come out the other end looking quite similar.
Yeah,
You've lost the ability to create and think for yourself.
Yeah.
Just followed, how do I learn 4 times 4? How do I learn how to write an essay? How do I research and do this? Yeah. So me, like, leaving school, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And I had a chip on my shoulder that I knew, and this isn't everybody, but I knew university wasn't the way for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, there goes another 4 years plus money down the drain to come out the other side without confidence that I'll get the job that I started this whole thing for. Now, I believe in university because we need doctors, we need engineers, we need people with those certifications.
Yep.
But just experiment in that period. If you're coming out of school, experiment.
Awesome.
Go get a job. There's no problem with that. Go dig holes till your hands bleed. Go paint walls until you're numb. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Go try and start a business and fail.
Yeah.
Go work for someone for free within a business that you think you might like.
Yep.
And just test and experiment until you start to go, I'm a bit more passionate about this, or this is quite exciting, or I could see me doing this. We were talking earlier about fast forwarding. Can I see down the track? Can I be in this for a little bit longer?
That's great.
Yeah, we know more than ever now that the stats are like people don't hold jobs for longer than like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I made those figures up, but it's
it's shorter.
It's
it is
very short, right?
Yeah.
And so, not to judge yourself too early.
Yep.
Just go out there and experiment and take the pressure off.
Awesome.
Yeah,
what about you, Andy?
I back that 100%. By the way, that's great. Sort of touching on your point, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, great.
So don't come out of high school or wherever you're coming from and just being like, I have to do this and that, and work, like you're saying, working at McDonald's or wherever the heck you want to work, and do your time. Do your time and learn and pay attention. That's one of the things that I skipped over, was that I wasn't paying attention to the people around me, the people who had opportunities around me, and pay attention in church. And,
great.
Get some good people around you. Get a good circle, a good crew of guys that are going to help build you up. If you're around, bad character, it's going to corrupt.
It will.
Corrupt you. Corrupt you. So
it's good. And then I suppose for someone who's maybe like mid-20s or later 20s that's been doing a job or the same, been in the same industry for a few years, and they're like, oh, I can't get that promotion, or I'm struggling to sort of move forward. Like, what would you say to that person who's like just struggling to go to that next step? Because sometimes you can kind of get caught in like the jump of like, whether it's in a trade or whether it's in your career, in an office job. But like, is there any advice to the mid-20 or, someone who's a little bit older?
Are they enjoying what they're doing?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that person who's loving it, but like they just can't see the way forward? Like there's like somehow barriers there, or like there's just either friction in that workplace, but they they feel called to be there, and they feel like God's wanting them to be there, but like how do they go to the next level? And they've been there for a little bit.
If it's a promotion that they're seeking or they're being undervalued, I'd ask.
Yep.
That's probably the first thing you can do. I heard this phenomenal quote from a mentor of mine, Dr. Myron Golden.
Yep.
He got it from his daughter, and he said the biggest problem with communication is thinking that it happened.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
so
That's great.
if you're expecting more out of what you've got, but you haven't had a conversation around it, just ask.
Yeah.
So if it's a promotion, or maybe your boss or your superior or whoever doesn't understand where you're coming from or what you see or your perspective, just have that conversation. Just pull them aside and say, hey, I'd love to catch up for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, great.
I love this organization. I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm adamant that we can change, we can grow, we can do all these things.
Yeah.
And bring something to the table and then ask.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, that's great. I'd say pray about it first.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know, ask the Lord, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? How are you going to use me? If you want me to stay here, I'll stay here. But if you have something better for me, then reveal it.
Great.
And just keep that prayer consistent. But after that, start looking at your options. Like, starts talking to people and saying, hey, what are you guys doing where you are?
Yep.
Start getting some more perspective on what other industries are doing, what other, if you want to make a move, start looking at where that move is going to be.
That's why I asked if they're enjoying it or not.
Yeah.
Because if they're not enjoying it, just quit. Like, that's how simple it is. There's so many other options out there. Pray about it, but if you're not enjoying it, like,
I think what I'm hearing is you want to be active and sort of taking action rather than sort of being passive or just like cruising.
Without getting bitter, you know, without saying, oh, you know, what am I doing here? I don't want to stay here. Don't get negative. Just be like, you know what? I'm still here. I'm still going to give it 110%.
Yeah.
Even if I know that I'm going to go somewhere, if I found an opportunity, it's going to come, and I just need to, wherever I am, I need to be, you know, serving my master and serving the people around me at my work, at my church, wherever it is. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. And then I suppose as we're sort of wrapping up now, what would be, like, we've talked about so much today and you've already shared so much gold, but if there was one thing maybe you haven't said, or even the one thing you said today that you would really want people to take out of this episode and apply practically in their, you know, work or in their marketplace, wherever they are, what would that like one thing be that you'd want people to take away from today?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's really tough out there for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. I think the burdens of life are just getting more prevalent. So I think for the people that are staying faithful, staying strong, like, God sees your heart. Yeah, great. And he wants you to just keep going, and he wants you to just keep pushing and just keep showing up and just keep doing what you got to do to, you know, he sees what you're doing. He's going to bless you for that, to just keep being consistent in the good that you have and just to keep building that up. So,
that's great.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I'd probably want to just give a little bit of backstory for some people that may be in that like 25 to 30 bracket, and they're sort of going like, what now, what next, or why this or whatever. And what I haven't shared is, like, coming out of school, I went and got a personal training certificate. During that period, started this band. And then quit personal training because it wasn't for me. And I started multi-level marketing. I was a part of like the Amway Corporation, figured out that wasn't for me. Great model, but not for me. Then I started a graphic design business while I was in a band, right? So I started learning graphic design, just learning that off YouTube, right? And I built a business from that. While singing, right? Because I needed to work while we're in this band.
People wanted to know what you were doing in the band.
Totally.
Singing.
But then I knew graphic design wasn't my future forward as well. And so I started like a lifestyle brand manufacturing sunglasses and eyewear. Cool. You know, I started that with a business partner. Ended up just selling my share to him. Cool. Because we didn't see eye to eye in the end. I was like, cool, this is not for me either. And so it's just been this iteration all the way along of going like, knowing, all right, I've given this an absolute red hot go. But it's come to a point where I'm willing to put it aside to find the next in this season. And so, like, me being 34, I think, I don't know, coming on
30 something.
It's like, I still don't know. It's not a finish line. I don't see that there's a finish line. And so it's like, I know there's just going to be new inventions, new iterations, new inspirations along the way that will just keep evolving. So I don't see it as like maybe how generations before went. So everyone listening to this podcast, if you think about your parents, they were probably in a career for 20, 30, maybe longer right?
Or at least the same industry. They might have changed jobs,
and,
but like similar.
And if not your parents, think about your grandparents.
Yeah.
And it's just not like that today.
Yeah.
You don't have to go down that road. And so I still don't know what that road looks like.
Yeah.
It's like one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And the word says that he guides our feet with a lamp to our path.
Yep.
Right. So he doesn't give us the big picture, but you have to take a step of action. And so
Great.
transparently, we're in this phase of like, what is this right now?
Yeah.
And to us, it's just been like, how do we match action with faith?
Great.
Action and faith.
It's really good.
To try and find where that, like, God will guide us to the clarity. And so hopefully people listening, like, just to know that you might see Andy, you might see myself, you might see Brian, like, oh, they know exactly what they're doing. But it's like, to get to this road, it's just been complete, like, you know, testing and trialing, iterations. And it's still not a complete picture. So hopefully just to give some people some hope there.
That's awesome, honestly.
that's
so
great.
good. I appreciate your time so much, guys. And I know everyone listening today will definitely appreciate your time as well. You guys have been awesome. So much gold. If you're listening out there, just make sure you take like one thing away from this episode, apply it into your life practically. Drop in the comments if there's anything as well. We'd love to hear any feedback or any thoughts, any ideas that you've got out of today's podcast. But yeah, we hope you have a great rest of the day. Catch you later. Bye.